How would you feel if our favorite fairy tales got an all-new twist? If that sounds good, then you should check out Order of Swans by Jude Deveraux. I gave this one 4 stars and a 1 on the spice meter. What you can come to expect in this book is multiple worlds, slow burn romance, sci-fi influences, secrets, fairy tales, and magic. So when I first started reading this book, I got kind of nervous because it was a very heavy sci-fi feeling. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's not that I mind sci-fi, but it is definitely not my favorite genre. But I was like, this is supposed to be a fantasy romance. So I just kept reading because that's what I do. But let me tell you, I am so glad I did. This one surprised me how it turned out. It kept some of the sci-fi influences, but not a whole lot. Once the author put the plot on its path, it became very heavy into the fantasy. This one had me hooked. The author takes our favorite fairy tales and spins them into something brand new. The world and the magic is complex, but the author does not give you all the information at one time. They give it to you throughout the book and as the story progresses. That way it's easier to follow. Due to the way the book is set up, this book would be easy for someone to follow who is not necessarily used to the fantasy or the romantasy or the sci-fi genre. The romance is a slow burn and there is tension and building even if it's one-sided sometimes. Even though this one has a touch of sci-fi influences, this one still is a fantasy romance, and I'm going to go ahead and give you an overview. That way you can decide whether you want to read this book or not. Kaley travels to what she assumes is an isolated island with her tutor and longtime family friend. She does this to get her life back on track for college. But while there, she notices some events that remind her of the stories she heard growing up. But those stories were just fairy tales, and fairy tales aren't real, right? I liked this book. I thought it was really unique, and I thought it was really original, and I liked this one, and I think you just might too.